I'm a bit behind. I have 2 months to tell you about in terms of everything I watched. I used to do these every 2 months, but then I ended up going to every month. But in June, we took in 2 dogs. We were fostering them, and they just took up all my time. So I did not watch a lot of movies in June, and I just decided to push it off. Anyway, in case you're wondering, the doggos have been rehomed to very wonderful homes, and now I am free to watch movies again. Okay, to kick off June, I watched Baby Oopsie Part 2, but you don't need to hear about that. Next, I watched Macabre from 1980. We watched this on a watch party that my Discord does every Friday. I will link the Discord below. Macabre was just really awesome. This is a Lamberto Bava horror film, and it was just equal parts hilarious and disgusting. Messy but charming and just full of shock, and it's definitely a keeper. I rewatched Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion, you know, as you do. And then I rewatched Don't Torture a Duckling. And I said this in a recent video, but Don't Torture a Duckling is a really good film, and it has taken me some time to be able to look back and truly appreciate it. That was my second watch, and I really enjoyed it. Next, I watched Baby Oopsie 3. Next, I watched Baby Oopsie 1, because I watched them like in a circle. Ooh, and then this was a very special watch party for me. This was Tony's pick, but on our Discord watch party, we watched Fatal Frames. And it was just really special to share Fatal Frames in a group setting because it is one of my favorite films, and just be able to see everyone's reactions as they're watching. It was great. I mean, the general consensus was like, that was a lot, but it was fun. I don't know if I love it more when people hate Fatal Frames or when they love Fatal Frames, but either way, it's highly entertaining. Then I rewatched Delirium, Photo of Joya from 1987. Okay, next, this is probably the biggest detour I have ever taken in my movie watching trajectory. This probably even trumps my dabbling in Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. I watched this film called Sarah's Choice from 2009. I saw this movie in the thrift store one time, and I was like, this looks hilarious. Especially once I realized that the lady on the cover of this movie is a Christian singer that I used to love in junior high. Sarah's Choice. This obviously looks like an anti-abortion movie. And when it became available on Tubi, I was really excited to watch it because I was like, this is gonna be some propaganda, and I'm excited. I thought it was gonna be hilarious. I would recommend you read my review of this on Instagram to explain why I'm even interested in watching a random Christian movie, right? But ultimately, the film disappointed because they were trying to be too delicate. They were being too objective. It wasn't as like pushy and judgmental as I was hoping it would be. But I guess it was still kind of fun. It was fun to watch because I was really excited to see which way it was gonna go. But ultimately, it wasn't like rude enough for me. I rewatched The Case of the Scorpion's Tail from 1971. I rewatched Demonic Toys from 1992. You may see a trend, but like if I just want to be cozy or like if I don't feel good or whatever, I go for Demonic Toys or Baby Oopsie. For the next watch party, we watched Phantom of Death from 1988. I have already seen this. It is a late installment into the Giallo genre, but definitely worth it for the cast of Donald Pleasance and edwige fenech. But I didn't like it so much the second time around. Not that it wasn't fun. Next, I was like, let me watch something new. So my husband and I watched Renfield from 2023. So what I would ultimately say about Renfield is it's not really a horror movie. It's not really for the horror fans. I loved seeing Nick Cage as Dracula. I'd like to see more of that actually. And the style, the light, the color, the style, like that was all. That's just how I like it. But I do feel like this film was catering more towards the people who like those superhero movies. For our next watch party, in the Giallo Discord. We watched The Spider Labyrinth from 1988. This is a film I had not heard of or anything. It turned out to be really, really cool. I liked it a lot. It got really crazy at the end. I mean, we almost kind of went into this like body horror territory. I don't know. It's a hard film to explain. It was a great selection. I think it pairs well with macabre. Finally, to wrap up July, I watched Tropic of Cancer because, you know, I got it on Blu-ray. But that was all for June. I know it sounds like I was pretty busy, but the only thing that was really keeping me on track was these watch parties. Now let's move on to July. We kicked off with The Murder Clinic from 1966. An early Giallo, and this was selected by the Count. I do remember who some of these were picked by. I loved it. I didn't know I was going to like it so much. I thought it'd just be like a boring 60s Giallo, but I really loved it. A lot of us kept commenting on it was very Mario Bava-like visually. It was really pretty and had a very gothic atmosphere. Next I watched Baby Oopsie 2, then I watched Baby Oopsie 3. Moving on, I watched The Faculty from 1998 and I have never seen it until now. It hadn't even been spoiled for me. I didn't even know what it was about. I thought it was really good. It was really cool. The like world building and the character design, it was all really interesting. They went above and beyond making everything look dingy and kind of gross and imperfect. I don't know. It was very cool. What I said in my review here is that it seemed like the initial idea for the film was probably even more outlandish and that like they were told to tone it down or something. Like I just got the impression that there was these like conflicting energies behind the scenes like in the making of this movie. But I still think it turned out really well and I'd love to watch it again. I own it. I bought it on DVD, so I'm excited. Oh yes, next I watched The Wife on Vacation, The Lover in Town from 1980. This is a, what do you call it? Sexy Italian comedy. I can't remember what it is in Italian, but I sought this movie out because it has Edwige Fenech and Barbara Bouchet in it together. And I was like, I don't think I've seen a movie with both of them together. So I just really wanted to watch it and I couldn't find it with subtitles or in English or anything like that. So I watched the whole movie in Italian with no subs. And I think that's the first time I've done that, like for the whole movie. I didn't quite know what was going on, but like the comedy was still funny. It was a comedy too. I don't even know what I'm doing. But Edwige and Barbara were both beautiful. The music was so cute and the comedy, there were parts that were funny that just transcend language. So I sat through that whole thing and I did enjoy it. Yes, next was another watch party pick and it was The New Barbarians from 1983 and this was picked by Navarre. I didn't know what this was going to be, but it's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of situation with George Eastman in it and it was really memorable. You know, at the time I was like not sure what to think, but the visuals and the presence of George Eastman leave a lasting impression, and watching it with a watch party I think made it more fun because there was a lot to comment on and to laugh at. Yeah, I think it was fun and it was a step outside of what I would normally pursue. So I do appreciate the watch parties taking me out of my normal path. Oh yes, next I watched The Devil's Nightmare from 1971 and I did a review a few videos back. So I won't linger on this too long, but I really loved it. It was beautiful. More of that gothic shit. Recommended by the Count and starring Erica Blanc. Next I watched Baby Oopsie 2. I forgot to watch Baby Oopsie 1 before that. Next, for a watch party, we watched Spasmo from 1974, which you may know I have already seen. It's just a fantastic Giallo. It's quite pleasant. Then I rewatched Shock from 1977, the Mario Bava film, and I watched it just because I wanted a comfy rewatch, but I did end up giving it its own review a couple videos back as well. But I really love shock. It's a very lovable film and worth it to stay till the end. Next, if I watch a series of Lifetime movies back to back to back to back, I am in need of a wellness check. The other day I was not feeling good, so here came the Lifetime movies. First, I clicked on this one because of the freaking title, A Working Mom's Nightmare. This came out in 2019. Wow, it seems older than that. It was a very empty, sort of shallow stalker thriller movie. Didn't really have anything to do with the fact that she was a mom at all. It almost should have been called A Working Woman's Nightmare. But it was fine. It didn't upset me that I watched it, but it's probably not one I will go back to. After A Working Mom's Nightmare, I went on to this Tubi original called The X Obsession from 2022. I followed an actor here, but you don't need to hear about all that. This movie was off the wall. It has this nice premise that's quite similar to, oops, I accidentally killed someone, now what? But then it just goes real weird. It was fun though. It was pretty funny at times. So, not terrible. And then I went back to the Nightmare series and watched A Daughter's Nightmare from 2014. Kind of a weird scenario here too as well, sort of a stalker situation. It wasn't that dramatic, but it was pretty cool that it had Emily Osment in it, and it also had Al from Home Improvement. Then it was my pick for the watch party, and my pick was Delirium, Photo of Joya from 1987, and it went over really well. I love the film. I've watched it a ton of times now, I think. And finally, I wrapped up July with Baby Oopsie. And it's not for the reason you think, okay? I was showing my friend Baby Oopsie, and she loved it. And then she went on to watch Baby Oopsie 2 and Demonic Toys. My friend Sky. So I wasn't watching Baby Oopsie for the 25th time because I'm crazy or anything. There was a reason for it. Okay, that's what I watched in June and July. I feel like I wasn't the most coherent this afternoon, but I hope you still enjoyed hearing me read a list of things that I watched. And I hope we can get back to that regular monthly schedule. What have you been watching this summer? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? What's something you want to watch? Let a hoe know down below. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.